How do you market your business when 100% of the internet is fake? I mean, we're talking about how social proof today, it's so easily faked. You can come across reviews online, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, and it's getting harder and harder to tell, is that written by AI or not? You just can't tell the difference anymore. And progressively, we're getting more phone calls, more emails, more cold emails. And I say this as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, as someone who has built a seven-figure business, who has worked with AI, who has built AI, not just applied AI, like using ChatGPT in terms of like the API, but actually built foundational AI models and done my own original research on it. So marketers, just as they always have, and business owners and entrepreneurs, we've just adapted to the changing market conditions. And AI is AI is really throwing the whole market for a loop. I mean, we have traffic just in the last year or so, especially just really fall off a cliff completely for so many businesses. For our business, it's down 85% in terms of our organic search traffic. We used to get tens of thousands of visits. And now we get a fraction of that. Same thing happened to HubSpot, a publicly traded company, and Forbes, and many other big name brands, and many other small businesses, with few exceptions. There are some industries that are less affected. Um, but AI generated reviews, for instance, they've been growing 80% month over month since June of 2023, according to Transparency Company. And 46% of consumers now they suspect a review is fake when it looks AI written, according to Capital One Shopping. I mean, shocker. Like if it sounds like AI, they might suspect it's AI. But the point is that consumers are thinking in these terms. They're thinking, like there's like even if it is worded, um, even if it is worded to not sound like AI, um, even if it is written by a human, just because the human maybe writes like AI. And if anything, I think it's more likely that we will almost be self-programmed to write more like AI than that we use AI. um, because we're not just programming these AI models. We're not just giving inputs. They're giving outputs, which are also inputs to our own mind. So it influences our own behavior. So the ability to tell will erode more and more over time as it influences us back. And when the cost of labor for reaching people in terms of marketing and sales and business and lead generation, when outreach uh, when infinite outreach is possible, well, who becomes more powerful in this scenario? Where does the bottleneck shift to? It shifts to the gatekeepers. They become more and more powerful. And we're talking about, of course, Meta, Amazon, Apple, um, Netflix to a lesser extent. I mean, FANG, FAANG, is becoming a less relevant acronym because of Netflix is in there, but certainly Google, OpenAI, because they too get to produce their own content infinitely. They get to be the gatekeepers of telling you what, through their own filter, like what is true, what is not. Um, but they also can become producers in this way because they have these AI models that they're not just using AI models and AI to create an addictive feed of content, and so that you scroll infinitely, and that they have as much of your attention as possible. But they will become producers themselves. And why not? Because the profit incentive is there. Why not? So more attention, more retention, this generates more advertiser inventory for them. And if you want to exist, if you want to get distribution online, more and more, you will have to turn to these large tech, to this large tech oligop. You will have to turn to this large tech oligopoly. And I mean, hell, they'll probably even sell their own products. Why would their algorithm take risks with human created content, or even human influence content? Let's say you prompted AI to help you generate your own content, so it's human influence. But why take the risk when they have, their own content being generated? It's more fully optimized for what they know statistically is going to work. Why bother taking the risk? So Remember how we like years ago they had Facebook pages and they had likes and followers like they do now, of course, but it just means less and less and less. And the positive point of view from a marketing standpoint is, oh, like it's egalitarian, it's meritorious because you can be a creator with next to no followers, but if you produce something that is going to hit and the algorithm predicts this is going to hit, so I'm going to distribute this to millions of people, and so you get millions of views from a single piece of content. Well, great. That sounds awesome. But with more people, because of the Google traffic dropping, now flooding in both as advertisers, to pay for that advertising inventory, but also for social media organic, it's going to become so much more competitive. These platforms, in order to maintain their dominance, they need to maintain a certain level of positive interactions just happening every single second of every day on the platforms. If they show you content that is less relevant, that is even just a bad interaction, a bad experience in some way, that is moving people off of their platform. That makes it less addictive. That makes people want to spend less time. So their incentive is the opposite. And therefore, the incentive will become to actually produce their own AI content to compete with me and you and anyone else who produces content with the hopes of getting distribution. So competition will skyrocket, and it already is. Um, and some will turn away from it. I think the people who are more self-aware, and I hesitate to say low IQ because I don't think it's necessarily that simple. I think that people I think intelligence happens across different dimensions. That's why we have, I guess what's politically incorrect, but I don't give a fuck to say it. Idiot savants. In the present and past. I mean, Rain Man with Tom Cruise was, highlighting this. Where Dustin Hoffman in the movie was, I think, his cousin or his brother actually, and he takes care of him. But it turns out that he can do math in his mind like a calculator, and he puts this to good use. Tom Cruise in the movie. So I encourage you go watch the movie. It's a great movie. But I digress. And, so we'll just, for oversimplification and for not giving a damn about being politically correct or not, we'll just say that low IQ people are more likely to stay, eyeballs glued to the screen, just, you know, um, and their attention, their minds will be owned. And they won't, and because honestly, a lot of people don't care what is true and what is not. We just want to be stimmed. We want to be entertained. Um, and so far, though, at the time of this video, it's not too bad. The algorithms are keeping the AI slop at bay because you can often tell now what is AI and what isn't for the moment. But it's getting better. I mean, as of this video, Sora 2 came out, and it's a leap forward for sure. You could put yourself, you take a facial scan, and that will lead to nothing negative, I'm sure, long term. There's no consequences of just giving a big tech company for free a scan of your face. Um, and you can choose not to watch the AI slop. In YouTube, for instance, if you detect AI slop and you say no, don't show me, like give a thumbs down, it's not going to show you that anymore, just as I have done this. But again, as it becomes more and more blended, where you just can't tell the difference because it becomes so good, um, it's going to creep. It's going to creep back in. So the gap is closing. 50% of all internet articles are now generated by AI, and that's up from 10% in late 2022, according to Graphite slash the publication Futurism. 17% of the top 20 Google search results are AI generated, according to originality.ai. 71% of social media images are AI generated, according to AI Smart AI. Yet 6% of users say they trust AI generated summaries a lot. That number will undoubtedly grow as people just can't tell what is or what isn't an AI summary, according to Pew Research published on Axios. In Frank Herbert's Dune books, now excellent movies, showcasing two warring factions in the far-flung future with this awesome space age technology. Go watch the movies or read the books if you haven't already. But in the book, something that doesn't come up in the movies that I saw is that thinking machines are outlawed. In other words, AI is illegal in this future that Frank Herbert imagined. And I think that's really fascinating to think about, because I think while technology can free up our time and help us be so much more productive as humans, and the hope is lead to a better future. At the moment, it seems like we're going through this, um, a crucible, and it doesn't seem like it yet, but it's like a vice. It's just slowly going to tighten around so many companies, so many individuals. People are going to be progressively laid off. I think that, not all of the predictions will be as doom and gloom. I do think that there's a high probability that there might be a dramatic irony or ironic twist coming, where maybe jobs, for example, will be maintained because there'll be so much more demand, and we will just need, especially with the level of AI that we have today, um, we just need so many humans to really differentiate our brands and monitor these AI agents that are running around doing the work. Because if you are a company and you have access to AI tech, let's say it's even just a little bit better, or some marginal amount better than what a small business or a startup can acquire in terms of AI. Um, what's going to be the difference if it's all done by AI? Especially where like the AI agents can, again, they can also just copy each other. So you're going to need humans to really come in and do more critical, creative thinking, and just be kind of flawed and opinionated, and try new things that are just outside of the distribution of data sets that were used to train the AI in the first place. Because these LLMs, they don't have, real world experience. They're just trained on the corpus of data across the entire internet. But getting back to the point here, if the internet gets consolidated into just a handful of companies, is this a future that we will want, where these companies become more and more powerful? They become the primary arbiters of truth, the gatekeepers to it, if you will. Even if they're just powerful in terms of, they're appealing to people on a primordial self-stimming level, like, oh, just let me just escape reality for a second, which has its own irony in it, which I'll come back to in a second. Um, but in this not so far away from today world, does capitalism cease to exist as power and money consolidate around these big firms? The top five tech companies, now control, $15 trillion in market cap, equivalent to the 15th largest economy in the world, according to Graphite Analysis. Um, and again, they are positioning themselves to be the arbiters of truth and mental addiction, to escape from a mentally and spiritually poor world, which they were incentivized to help create. And therein lies the irony. So, how do you survive in business, as a business, in this potentially very dark future? Well, first, people crave the internet because it's stimulating, it's incredibly interesting. There's so much to research, to learn, to do, to stimulate yourself with. It satisfies social needs, need to feel powerful, need to feel important, need to make money, the desire to get laid, of course. Um, the web, though, will evolve. We'll come back to this idea towards the end. But first, as a business, one strategy that will work for you is to go local. All right, go local. Why? Because local is difficult. Local, you can't fake, because it's in person. Okay. Um, and in a future dystopian sci-fi fictional sense, you can think of ways that you can fake local. But for now, for the sake of argument, you can't fake local. So there will and already are huge chunks of people, young and older, who see the game for what it is, and they crave genuine real world connection, with other humans, as friends, for shared experience, for business, for love. 47% of consumers say locally owned companies, are important to their purchase decision, according to McKinsey. And 72% are willing to pay more for high quality service from local businesses, according to SERP Watch. Okay, not exactly the most powerful data, but you get where I'm going with this. So even the most dedicated group doom scrollers, these people can also hopefully get overstimulated at a certain point. They can feel lonely. They can want and crave that in-person connection. I mean, coming out of COVID and being someone myself who has created a local community of people in their 20s and 30s, and we're just starting to hold networking events now. Going local for in-person connections, it's high trust in part because it is at this moment low leverage. It's high trust because it is low leverage in the sense that it's local. It takes time. It takes more effort. It's slow, right? It's slow to build the reputation. It's slower to build trust, and it is connected to and dependent on real world connection. Um, so scaling your marketing off of real world connection is what will work. Okay, so going local is the first strategy. But point number two, another effective way as a business that you can market in this potentially ambiguous future that we're heading into. I'm hoping for the best outcome, to be honest, but is to offer live events, both, obviously in the local sense, but live online events would be the next best thing. Things that require, the human touch. So live online events, coaching, one-on-one interaction. This will maintain and grow trust. It will become easier to fake and AIify these things over time. I mean, today they already have like automated, recorded events that are, for some marketers, it's pretty easy to tell if it's recorded, right? But if you're doing it as a human being, it's still relatively high trust, only one level down from doing pure local and in-person events. Also, though, these types of services will become more insulated and protected from AI's labor force reduction impacts because people want humans to do certain things that they feel only humans are appropriate to do for them. For instance, um, human-only services like AI still lacks context and experience-based depth of understanding to, for instance, properly advise and relate to us in, for example, a therapist or a coaching sort of way. Moreover, if it did say all the things, if AI did say all the right things and even all the right way, knowing it was AI would completely cheapen the experience because anything done by AI is automatically cheapened in terms of monetary or other types of value perception because it doesn't require human experience, doesn't require effort or thought. It's that beautiful painting, AI could generate it, you know thousands of copies of it. If scaled up properly, they could do thousands in a second. Um, Now, stat here is 52% of consumers are less engaged with content if they suspect it's AI generated, to support the claim here from AI Smart. Point number three, or strategy number three, the value of brand-based trust will go up exponentially. So in a digital world where so much will be spam and fake and everyone will be operating from a position of zero trust by default, 75% of Americans saying their trust in online content has decreased, and 78% find it increasingly difficult to tell real from AI generated content, according to AMRA and Elma research. Well, in this scenario, in this future, brands that will be investing in to be transparent, to be human, and transparent to the degree with how and to what degree they use AI or don't, will win. Okay. Because we will become more depth in terms of and maybe this is a good thing, we will just become doubtful in general of all media sources. If we don't see it firsthand, we will, in a way, we're going to be trained to doubt it. Is that AI? Is this just written by a human? The final prediction is that if the internet becomes enshittified, as predicted by some, something new will take its place. And enshittification is an interesting term that's out there percolating in the zeitgeist right now. It's not my word, but you might want to look into it. Enshittification of the internet. So my final prediction is related to the enshittification of the internet and what will take the internet's place as we know it today if the trend continues. What will take its place is some sort of new internet. Perhaps the futuristic scenario portrayed in the book and movie Ready Player One wasn't so far off. But that sort of environment would need to be distributed and designed in a high trust sort of manner in order for it to actually work. It is possible. And I'm just thinking as I'm talking here, for example, related to the previous strategy, like around doing live online events, it's that live aspect that if the platform like YouTube, if that cannot be faked, having that, this is live, like the red dot, this was recorded live. That's a big marker of trust. That's also why I'm experimenting on my channel here with videos like this, which I hope you're getting value from. And if you'd like to support me in continuing to do this work, I would greatly welcome it if you can give a thumbs up and, in other words, to like it, to subscribe. I'm not done here just yet. I have a final idea here to wrap up. But please consider sharing it, liking it, and leaving a comment. I really appreciate your support. I'm considering making this into a more epic documentary style video for my company, Growbo's main channel. And you can also support me and my work by becoming a client or referring potential clients to Growbo. We have an affiliate program if you're interested. Anyway, as I was saying, a new internet will likely take the place of this enshittified internet if the trends continue and if trust continues to just decrease to the point of people almost ODing on content to the point where it's not stimulating anymore. We've been so overstimulated that we crave what is more real, what is more human, what is authentic, what we can feel, what we can see and know is truly real. And that sort of environment, as I mentioned, would need to be distributed and done in such a high trust manner. In a world where we don't know what is real and what is fake, where our social patterns can be modeled and predicted down to the one-to-one level, where these platforms, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, TikTok, X, all these different platforms, when they can predict what we like and what we will not like, and the big tech gatekeepers' power and money grows immensely as their ability to influence our minds also grows to, in a way, control us because they can predict us. A new form of marketing for products and services will undoubtedly emerge, one based on zero trust of digital formats. And that is why these strategies that I encourage you to pursue will be so potent over the long term. In this world of concentrated rather than distributed power, perhaps the most powerful in this world of concentrated rather than distributed power, perhaps the most powerful gatekeeper is the version of you capable of being a gatekeeper of his own mind.